everybody, welcome to RTO with Ian. Welcome to another week, and I thought we'd clear the cobwebs on a Monday morning with a little bit of Symphony X. So, Symphony X, progressive metal band formed in Middletown, New Jersey, by Michael Pinner. They've made 9 albums. One or two changes, but not too many. They're progressive metal with symphonic rock, very influenced by classical music. There's some lovely stuff in guitar work within the band. So without further ado, let's get a cracking. Okay then, well, coming in at number 9 is the debut album, self-titled Symphony X, released in 1994. And we've got Rod Tyler, which will be his only album, Michael Romeo, Michael Miller, Jason Rouleau and Thomas Miller. Thomas Miller was bass, Jason Rouleau was drums, Michael Pinella on keyboards, Michael Romeo on guitar. Okay, first track, Into the Dementia. This is one of these typical starts to a Symphony X record. Nice little intro, some nice guitar licks from Mr. Romeo, just, you know, building up towards what was coming, and then it goes straight into a song called Raging Season. It's quite tinny, this is. The drums just don't sound right, and of course the vocal is not strong on this one at all, but it is a good track, but it's just got a few flaws. Premonition, great intro on this on the piano, and then when Jason comes in on the drums, very good start, but unfortunately I don't think Rob Tyler's vocals suited what they wanted to do. It's not a bad song, I'm not saying the song's bad, it's just it lacks something. Masquerade, the interplay between the two Michaels on this is superb. They talk to each other, they bounce off each other. It's a really good track, but it's just, again, without putting poor old Rod Tyler down, his vocals are not, I don't think they were suited to this style of music. Okay, then we get my favourite track on the album, Absinthe and Rue. Even the vocals really good on this. It's one of his better performances. You can see where they were going to go. It's full of them classic licks, guitar solos, the great riffs. Absolutely a brilliant track. Then we get Shades of Grey, nice little ballady type track. This sort of song does suit Rod Tyler's voice, and it sounds really good, and it's not a bad song. Nice guitar work from Michael Romeo, very good track. Taunting the Notorious. The guitar licks in this are fantastic. All them little fancy little twiddly bits, as I call them, that Romeo does. Jason's drumming on here is absolutely awesome. Rapture or Pain, again, solid musically, very solid, very weak vocal. It's unfortunate. Very good. Thorns of Sorrow could have been a great track if the drums were a little bit more deeper. They just lack a little bit more. It sounds very, very light, which you shouldn't have in progressive metal. It should be hard, it should be heavy. And then we get the last track, A Lesson Before Dying. Love the concept of this track. The arrangement is exceptional, but the drums are just not heavy enough. So the debut album, it's not a bad album at all. It's got a lot of flaws in it though, i.e. the vocals are a little bit too weak in places. Some of the production on the drums is not, I don't think they gave the justice. But I like, you could see the concept of what Symphony X wanted to do. So I'll give this an RTO ranking of 5 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 8. It is the 8th studio album, released in 2011. Iconoclast. On here we've got Russell Allen on vocals now, Michael Romeo, Michael Pinella, Michael LePond. So you've got 3 Michaels in the band now, and Jason Rouleau on the drums. First track, title track, Iconoclast. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm terrible on pronunciations, aren't I? But this is a brilliant track. I love the riffs. I love Russell Allen's vocal on this. Absolutely fantastic. And the drumming in this from Jason Rouleau is absolutely unbelievable. My favourite track on the album, without a doubt. Second track, The End of Innocence. Again, we got these nice driving riffs and licks, and the keyboards from Michael Pinella. It's just unbelievable. He gets sounds on them keyboards that you don't even know that you can have. You know, he can do a full orchestra on his keyboard, and it sounds fantastic. Then we get Dehumanized, solid track, very good track. Fourth track is Bastards of Machine. I'm not too keen on this one. It's okay, but it's not my favourite on the album. Heretic, excellent riffs in this track. Absolutely stonking bass line as well. Russell Allen again on top form for this one. Children of a Faceless God, it's okay. It's not brilliant, it's not terrible, it's just okay. When It's All Lost, this is one of those typical Symphony X epics. You get the piano at the work, you get nice piano, you get nice keyboard runs, lots of twiddly guitars, absolutely a top track. Electric Messiah, it's solid enough. It's not a spectacular track, but the best thing about this is Michael Romeo's guitar solo. Prometheus, I'm Alive. It's just a little bit of generic progressive metal. It doesn't stand out. Bit of a filler, I'm afraid. Light Up the Night. Oh, the ferocious drumming by Jason Rouleau on this is awesome. Absolutely nails it. Lord of Chaos, solid track again. Nothing wrong with that one. Raining Madness, it's not too bad. Russell's vocal on this, it tends to be more shouting than singing. It just doesn't sound right. You know, sing, don't shout. That was the last track. This is a very solid album. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't dislike any of these albums, in fact, but there are some Just some ordinary tracks on this one, and Russell Allen sometimes starts shouting than singing, which spoils it. But as an album, very listenable. Listen to it quite a lot. I'll give it an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 7, we have the 7th studio album, released in 2007, Paradise Lost. This is a concept album loosely inspired by John Milton's 1667 epic poem Paradise Lost. Got the same lineup as Iconoclast, Russell Allen on the vocals, Michael Romeo on guitars, Michael Pinella on keyboard, Jason Rouleau on drums, and Michael Lepond on bass. First track, Oculus Ex Inferi. This is an instrumental orchestral start. It's just amazing. Could appear in any soundtrack of a movie. Absolutely belting start, and that goes straight into the next track, Set the World on Fire. Very solid track. Just love the drumming from Jason on this. It absolutely booms, and Russell Allen on fire, absolutely on fire, absolute belter of a track. Domination, got some bright bassy beginning, and it goes into some nice guitar work from Mr. Romeo. Awesome stuff, solid track. Serpent's Kiss, driving bass line from Michael Lepond. This track dominates that bass line, but you got Michael Romeo's guitar work on this is just terrific. Then we get the title track, Paradise Lost. Great keyboards in this. It's just amazing. Russell Allen sounds good as ever. Top track. Eve of Seduction. Again, Michael Romeo's guitar work in this is superb. He's a very classical trained musician, I think. He just plays that guitar, all them complicated licks and that. He makes it look so easy. Fantastic guitarist. The Walls of Babylon. Again, we got that interplay between Romeo and Pinella, which I love listening to. They are so good together. 7. This is Fast and Furious. Again, but now and again Russell Allen starts shouting. Don't shout, sir. You're a good singer. Don't need to shout, fella. The Sacrifice. The piano in this sounds absolutely terrific. I love that track. Then we get my favourite track, the last track, Revelation. It's got that great riff, that progressive metal riff that you know it's progressive metal, and you get this combination of keyboard and piano from Michael Pinella. It's fantastic. Listen to that all day. Again, a solid album. It's tough, this is, because I love this album, but I love the other ones better. Enjoyable album, got some really good material on this. I'll give it an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 6, it's actually the current album, the 9th album, Underworld, released in 2015. So we've still got that steady lineup of Russell Allen, Michael Romeo, Michael Pinella, Michael Lepond, and Jason Rouleau. First track is an overture instrumental, another of those dramatic Symphony X opening operatic vocal tremendous, which goes stonking into Nevermore. Fast and furious drumming again, unbelievable. Russell's voice sounds a lot better on this album. I don't know what they've done, they tweaked it, but I'm absolutely on fire on that track. Brilliant stuff. Third track, Underworld, title track. I've put a note here. There's something about progressive metal keyboard work. It just sounds fabulous. It sort of intertwines with them riffs. And this is a fine example of it. It is a fabulous track. And Without You, another great track with great riffing sound, little touches of little guitar licks, some keyboard that's still on top, and it gives it that extra atmosphere. Great track. Kiss of Fire, solid enough track. It's not brilliant, it's not fantastic, it's not bad, it just sits there nicely. Charon, another great track. Russell Allen's best vocal on this. Superb track again. The keyboards are just amazing. I'm going to get my favourite track, To Hell and Back. It's atmospheric. The keyboards at the beginning of this are fantastic. It just builds up into a rocker, and it's a great, great track. In My Darkest Hour, bit of a filler. It's alright. Run with the Devil, ripping drums in this. Absolutely. Blows your head off. It's got that real heavy drive. As I said, if they'd have had this sort of sound on that first album, some of them tracks would be unbelievable. Then we get Swan Song, another fantastic vocal performance by Russell Allen. And yes, we are going to be looking at his stuff he did with Mr. Land at some stage. Good. He is a good progressive metal singer when he doesn't shout. But the keyboards, again, you get that mixture of synth and piano, which I love. It sounds really good. Then we get Legend. This is some of Michael Romeo's best guitar work. He plays it fast and furious, doesn't drop a note, and again his interaction with Michael Pinella is fantastic. Great album this is. You're not going to. What I like about this album is that interplay between the two Michaels on the keyboards and guitar. It just sounds fantastic, and you can see they're having a lot of fun with it. And I'll give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Time for a drink. Right, coming in at number 5 then. We've got the second album. First album that featured Russell Allen, of course, from 1995, The Damnation Game. So we've also got the original bass player on here. So we've got Thomas Miller on the bass, Russell Allen on vocals, and then we've got Michael and Jason doing what they normally do, the good stuff as well. Okay, the first track on here, called The Damnation Game. This starts off very classical beginning. The guitar work for Michael is top draw stuff again, absolutely brilliant. Dressed to Kill, again, brilliant track. One of my top 10 favourite songs by the band. It's just amazing. The Edge of Forever starts quiet, nice keyboard runs, gentle guitars, bang, rock, straight in there. And then we go mellow again, It's just fantastic. I like the movement and it flows lovely. Savage Curtain, solid track. Keyboards again just dominate this track. Then we get a track called Whispers, which to me is probably one of the worst songs I ever recorded. It just doesn't go for me. The haunting guitar work on this from Michael Romeo in this classical style of playing guitar is unbelievable. Secrets, very different. The drumming is quite clever. The change of tempo in this is unbelievable. The drum just keeps it going. There's no faultless on that one. One minute he's thrashing away, and the next minute it goes quiet without missing a beat or anything. Fantastic drumming on that track. Then we get a thing called A Winter's Dream. It's in 2 parts. The first part's called Prelude. The vocal on this is fantastic. You've got Russell Allen and Michael Pinella absolutely complement each other. Then it goes into the second part. Again, this has got some great riffs, and it's probably got one of Michael Pinella's greatest keyboard solos. Absolutely brilliant. To end the album, certainly this is a great improvement on the debut album. It's not quite there though, but with the inclusion of Russell Allen on vocals, got a stronger vocal now, and they've almost got what they wanted. So I'll give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, we're now moving into the top 4, and these top 4 were very hard to split again, because all 4 albums are out of the top drawer. So coming in at number 4, released in 1996, The Divine Wings of Tragedy, 3rd album. We've got Russell Allen, Michael Romeo, Michael Pinella, Jason Rouleau, Thomas Miller. First track, Sins and Shadows. Awesome. No mucking about on this, straight into rock. Bang. Awesome track. Sea of Lies. Some great bass work here from Thomas Miller. Solid track. Out of the Ashes. There's just something about metal, rock, if you want to call it, played in the style of a classical piece of music. Just love it. The keyboards are a major part of this. The orchestra arrangement is fantastic, and the choir, it's just awesome. That's all down to Michael Pinella. Fantastic track. The Accolade. This is 2 songs within 1 song. First bit you get the quiet stuff, nice, and it builds up, and the drumming towards the end of this is terrific. Pharaoh, I like the change of pace and tempo in this. It's flawless. It doesn't. There's sometimes when you change from a heavy thrashy sound to a quieter one, it just seems to flow naturally. So naturally you can go from. There's not many drummers that can do that and do it good. He does. Then we get The Eyes of Medusa, just another solid rock track. I like that one. The Witching Hour, solid enough track. Then we get the masterpiece, which is The Divine Wings of Tragedy. This is split up into 4 parts, with part 1 is At the Four Corners of Earth, part 2 In the Room of Thrones, part 3 A Gathering of Angels, part 4 The Wrath Divine, part 5 is The Prophet's Cry, part 6 The Bringer of Apocalypse, Eve of Sacrifice and Armies in the Sky, and then the part 7 is Paradise Regained. This is an epic. It's 20 minutes of brilliance. You're locked in from the minute it starts. You've got the church organ, then you get little bits that sound like Mars, the bringer of war, and then it goes off into some great riffing. Then we get that change of pace again. Some great guitar solos through this from Michael Romeo throughout the parts. And then the final part is just so mellow, nice, delicate, orchestral, choral, amazing. Amazing piece of music. What a way to end the album. This is a superb album. It was so close to call this because these albums are brilliant. I'll give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 3, the 4th album, released in 1998, Twilight in a Lump, in Olympus. Now we've got a few changes. We had a few changes here. Regular drummer Jason Rouleau temporarily left the band for personal reasons, so drums were played by a guy called Thomas Walling, and this was the last album to feature Thomas Miller on bass as well. So the lineup for this one was Russell Allen, Michael Romeo, Michael Pinella, Thomas Walling on the drums, and Thomas Miller on bass. If you notice, they're all named. We've got 2 Michaels on this and 2 Thomases. At the moment, they've got 3 Michaels. Must be very confusing. They must have nicknames for each other. Okay, first track, Smoke and Mirrors, brilliant. The start of this is something that J.S. Bach could have wrote. It's absolutely brilliant. And then it's all of a sudden it starts rocking up, and it's a great track. Church of the Machine, the build-up of this is just amazing. It's just layer and layer of sound, and then you get them driving riffs towards the end. It is a terrific track. Then we get a cover. It's an instrumental called Sonata. Obviously it's a Beethoven's sonata, and it's beautiful. What a version of it. Short, sweet, but absolutely impacts you. In the Dragon's Den, thumping drum here. Good standing drummer, Mr. Walling. Awesome stuff. Typical Symphony X song. Lots of good bass and riffs, guitars, great singing from Russell. Superb. Then we get one of their epics, Through the Looking Glass. Best thing on the album. This is more progressive rock than metal. The second part is more progressive metal, and it goes back into the prog rock. It's just fantastic. If you love prog, metal, rock, folk, this is, it's got everything you need for your progressive music. Next track is The Relic. Again, the interplay between guitar and keyboards, awesome. Orion the Hunter, probably got one of the dirtiest, heaviest riffs. And then the drums come in, and again that playoff between the 2 Michaels on the guitar and keyboards, superb stuff. When you listen to this under the headphones, you can hear, it's beautiful to hear, absolutely stunning. Then the last track, Lady of the Snow, one of them great dramatic tracks again from the band, the keyboards again super, vocal from Russell Allen. I haven't mentioned him for a little while, but he is a great singer. I love listening to him. Again, an amazing album. These little classical bits they pop into their music is fantastic. Most enjoyable album, and I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8.5. These next two were hard. I think they changed places at least 4 times, but at the moment I'm going to go with this version. Next week I'll probably go the other way round. But coming in at number 2 is the 6th studio album, released in 2002. It's the Odyssey. Brilliant album this is. Russell Allen, Michael Romeo, Michael Pinella, Jason Rouleau and Michael LaPond. First track, Inferno. No dramatic intros on this, straight into guitar riffs and great drumming. Stonking track. Wicked, another track with driving riffs. Great bass line. Vocals from Russell Allen on this are just fantastic. Incantations of the Apprentice. Great title for a track. Very orchestral at the beginning. Absolutely draw stuff. Then goes into one of them great wicked bass lines. Great riffing. Terrific track. Then we've got Accolade 2. Again, it's got some of the finest keyboard from Michael. It is truly brilliant. Drives this track. Kings of Terror. Best vocal performance on here by Mr. Allen. Top draw singing. Makes him one of the most underrated progressive metal singers. The turn-in, no fancy intros again, drum straight in, fast and furious, great stuff. Awakenings, got Hammond organ on this, and there's little bits of it, reminds me of Uriah Heep's The Magician's Birthday. Then you get great classical piano as well, and a great jazzy bass line from Michael LaPond. It's a great track. And then we get one of the most fantastic pieces of progressive music I've ever heard. It's truly amazing. Takes up the last part of the album. It's of course the Odyssey. It's split up into 7 parts. Part 1 is Odysseus' theme, and then we get Overture, which is the Overture. Then we get the Journey to Itacha, Eye to Eye, Cirque, Siren, Cilia and Sarabdisa, Drifting Home, The Fate of Suitors, Champion of Thecata. One of my favourite pieces of music. The intro to this is worthy on its own. It's orchestral, it's dynamic, it could have been in any film. You can feel a journey on a boat. It just is fun. It's very hard to describe. It's just an epic piece of music. Tells a story. Great guitar work. Russell Allen is fantastic on this all the way through. Different type of singing. Awesome track. What a way to end an album. It's hard to split these two up. And if I put this at number 1 and number 2, you can see what a great album this is. And the next one is even better. I'll give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10 because it is just sheer brilliance. Okay, coming in at number 1 then. 5th album. Come out in 2000. The new Mythology Suite. It's a concept album again, dealing with the story of Atlantis, ancient Egyptian mythology and astrology. First to feature Michael Le Pond and the return of Jason Rouleau on the drums. So we got that lineup now of Russell, Michael, Jason and Michael. What a mouthful. First track, Prelude, again one of those awesome opening classical pieces of music that goes straight into evolution. Some of the most intense drumming and riffing on any of their tracks. Jason's back with a vengeance, playing it harder and with more ferocious hitting than ever. And then you've got Russell on fire. Great track. Fallen. This is quite mystique in this. Very, very good. The keyboards in this make this so daunting, and it's like Russell Allen's vocal on this is superb. Then we get a Transcendence. This is a little 38-second piece of music. I always complain these are pointless fillers, okay? But this one actually fits. It's brassy. What I mean by brassy, it's got brass sounding on it, and it's something that you'd expect on a soundtrack, but it fits nicely between Fallen and Communion of the Oracle. I love the acoustic guitar at the start of this, and that delicate piano, little tapping on the drum rims. Amazing track. Best part of this album, without a doubt. Then we get the Bird Serpent War, Catechism, swirling riffs and drums and misty keyboards, great vocals, perfect track. Then we get the Breath of Poseidon. This is an instrumental track. It's one of them mythical sounding tracks. It's dramatic. You feel that you're at sea. It's how, it's showing you the journey and how up and down it can be in 3 minutes. Fabulous track. Then we get Egypt. Again, it's got that mythical feel to it. Great track. Another instrumental then, called the Death Balance Lacrimosa. My pronunciations, if I get them wrong, I do apologise. Again, this just shows what very, very good musicians these guys are. Absolutely brilliant. The two Michaels just nail it. Well, there's 3 Michaels on here, but the 2 main Michaels, the keyboards and the guitar. Beautiful track. Absence of Light. Michael Pinella's keyboards in this. Great, and you get these little licks from Romeo as well. Tremendous stuff, and it's got one of the best guitar solos ever. Fool's Paradise, one of those signature Symphony X driving progressive metal songs. Then you get another little piece of music. It's only 1 minute 24, but it's got some delicate guitar, some nice delicate keyboards, which takes it lovely right into the last song, Rediscovery Part 2. Again, one of a progressive rock track more than a metal, but a still fantastic track. It's got some lovely touches on guitar and keyboards, such delicate, and then you get the strings, and then all of a sudden it goes bang, heavy, hard hitting, riffs, solos, licks. Again, that interplay between keyboard and guitar. What a way to end the album. This album flows so well, and them little bits in between it, the songs work. So, as you know, I'm not very keen on what pointless little bits of music, but this was very cleverly done. It sort of carries on the story, and it's one of them albums that you pay from start to finish. You just cannot pick tracks off it. That's why it's my favourite album at the moment. Next week it could be the other one. Could be the Odyssey. But on the whole, they're both fantastic albums. My favourite, both of these albums are my favourites. And I'll give it an RTO ranking of 9.5. Great band. I mean, what I like about Symphony X, there are so many elements of other progressive bands. There's little bits of Dream Theater in there. There's even little bits of Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Yes. That's what makes these a very good band. They are so underrated. They're up there with Dream Theater, without a doubt. Just a great band. Put some nice tracks in the playlist. Even I put the whole lot of the Odyssey. So if you've got 25 minutes to spare, that's what you'll be watching. Okay, first show done of the week. Next show is classic album, and as we're heading into Halloween, I thought I'd do a spooky album. So we're going to have a look at a classic album by Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare. I'll see you for that later. Take care for now.